The Bulls are making moves. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls' recent roster moves going into tonight's preseason game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we're going to be recapping their win against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 116 to 112 in Cleveland. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe. You have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so, yes, the Chicago Bulls winning games in the preseason and also to making some moves. So let's go ahead and look at perhaps a sneaky, pretty good signing that they have went ahead and made. And so when we look at the news, Javon Freeman Liberty looks like he is headed back to the Chicago Bulls. This is a player that I felt like we should have signed. We eventually let him get off and going to Toronto. He had a okay career there, averaged about 7 points or so, but I think that had we kept him, maybe he might have been in the rotation at this point in time, but he is headed back. Here is a player that has been in our building before. He's played in the Windy City Bulls, and he's also played with our Summer League team. Like I said, he was a standout there. He averaged double figures at 6'4", a very talented guard that can get up and down the court. I think he is absolutely going to fit the play style that we are looking for, and certainly helps us with all the guards that we have on the roster. But, if there is a chance to perhaps make a roster, it is now with the Chicago Bulls as they continue to evaluate young talent. So that is the newest signing, is that we have Javon Freeman Liberty that is coming back to the Chicago Bulls. And so now as we shift focus, let's look at what we saw tonight in the preseason game with the Chicago Bulls beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 116 to 112. And this was a pretty good win because the Bulls were down by as many as 16 points at one time, and it was not looking very good at all, but they were able to pull it together. And so as we bring up the stat sheet, I want to first start off with the couple players I think in the starting lineup. And one of the things that I talked about really throughout the offseason, and two players that I thought were going to have a good season regardless of the role that they had on this team, and that is Coby White and that is Ayo Dosunmu. I talked about the fact that I think that Coby White is going to take that next step, and I felt like Ayo was going to as well. And I think that they were the story of the first half. At one point, they were 3 of 9 combined shooting the three ball. They were 9 of 22 from the field in the first half. And they really kept the Chicago Bulls in it. And, both of those players ended up having double figures. In fact, when you look at the starters and you look at the players that played, I think that Coby White had the best maybe game out of the starters, even though he was -7 in the box score, still 21 points. He had 3 assists, 3 rebounds. You see that Ayo, he had a plus in the plus minus statistics as well. 10 points today. Definitely got other stats going with assists and rebounds, but both of those players, you see exactly why I think that they are building pieces for the Chicago Bulls. Next, let's go into the centers, right? And so starting with Vooch and then also with Jalen Smith, both were able to get a double-double. And I like the fact that Vooch did not just stand on the perimeter. He had some tip-ins and things like that. So I have got to give Vooch his credit where credit is due. 12 points and 10 rebounds. I know it is the preseason, but he felt like he could play with this unit at a faster pace. And I think he looked pretty good in the starting lineup. Jalen Smith as well. I think he was very active with the 11 points. He did have 10 rebounds as well. He had 7 of those, which are defensive rebounds, which is what you want to close out defensive possessions. So that was very good. Now, where this game turned is when they inserted Julian Phillps and then Dalen Terry and then Modest Buzlelis. When they let those players go, that's where you really started to see the defensive presence of the Chicago Bulls go up. And we've talked about this before, this fast-paced offense that they wanted to play. It didn't look very good in the first half, but what changed was defense. And I think that defense is going to be the identity. And so let's start with what Dalen Terry was able to do. I think he did a terrific job as far as getting into the passing lanes and he was just really feisty out there. I mean, he was fighting over screens and things like that. You could feel the energy definitely turn up when Dalen Terry was out there. This is why I'm high on him. This is why I think he absolutely will crack the rotation this year. And Julian Phillps, I think he was terrific as well. I mean, he went out there, he scored 11 points. He was plus 18 in the box score, 5 rebounds. Defensively, he was out there. He was getting dunks. You could feel the energy out there. You could feel the length on the defensive end. He was fantastic today. And then for the people out there, I've been talking about Modest Buzlelis. I had said that Modest Buzlelis is very good. I said that Modest Buzlelis perhaps is a player that could maybe be in the starting lineup. There was a lot of pushback out there. Everybody saying, no, it's Patrick Williams and, he's so much more bigger and all this stuff like that. And I totally get it. With the experience, I get it. But I have said this multiple times on this channel, and I will say it again. What Modest Buzlelis does not have in skill, he makes up in will. And that type of will that he has is something that this entire Chicago Bulls team absolutely needs. I think it is something that Coby White has. I really think that's something that Ayo Dosunmu has. And I see that that is something that both Dalen Terry and Julian Phillps have. These players are hungry. And the one thing that I talked about with Modest Buzlelis is this. Yes, he is going to struggle shooting the ball, but I said his impact is going to be the defensive end of the floor. I just said that prior to the game. What does he do? He comes out, he gets chased down blocks, he's fighting over screens, he's causing steals. He was just an absolute havoc on the defensive end. And then what about the fact that he's moving his feet? He uses his length very well on the defensive end. He's not going for a lot of up fakes and things like that. He looks like he's played in this league prior to being a rookie. And offensively, I said he was going to get to the line and the rest he could figure it out. What does he do? He comes out, he goes 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He gets 12 points. He also gets 5 rebounds as well. Like, this young man has shown that it is going to be hard to keep him out the starting lineup. And I know it is just game 1, and I get that it is the preseason, but he has stepped up now from the G League. He's also stepped up now from the Summer League, and he's stepping up, and you're seeing it now in live action against some players that are going to get some real NBA minutes. Modest Buzlelis is for real. And for the people out there that think that Modest Buzlelis cannot start for the Chicago Bulls and cannot be an impact player off the start, I think that you should definitely reevaluate that, because he is absolutely showing that he belongs and he should be on the floor sooner than later, which really makes us now think when Billy Donovan was saying he needs to possibly go to the G League, he needs to be out there playing immediately as much as possible to grow with this team, because it looks like that the Chicago Bulls really got a great player with Modest Buzlelis. Now you just have to continue to keep your draft capital, continue to build up these young players to go along with them, and I think that we're going to have a great team moving forward. So super excited about that. Some of the stats to throw out there with what we did in today's game. When you're looking at the field goal percentage, 38% for the Cavs, 20% from downtown, 85% from the line for them. We shot 42.2% from the field. And then also, too, we were right around, I believe, 20% from downtown as well. And then as far as the rebounds are concerned, the Cavs beat us 60-59, which was huge. They were beating us up in the paint. Points in the paint, we actually won that 68-62, considering that one of the bigger questions for us was what are we going to do with paint scores? And you see where the fast pace offense is kind of helping us. And then also, too, defensively, when you cause those steals, you start to get points in the paint. So we got a lot of those things to happen for us. So that was good. And then just some of my honorable mentions before we get out of here. THT, I definitely think that this is a player for sure that can make this roster. I think that he did a great job really affected the game, didn't shoot a three-point basket, and it was just Stacey King talked about it the whole telecast, that this young man is just a player that just knows how to get it done, and he's just got a game that you know what's going to come, but you cannot stop it. You could see that experience. You could see the toughness, the physicality as he's coming to the lane. So I liked THT and what he showed. So I definitely think that he did a great job today as far as putting his foot forward as far as making this team. And so we still need to see something from Sanogo. We also need to see something from Kenny Lofton Jr. Those are a couple players that I want to see. We didn't see anything from Lonzo Ball today, which is expected as they continue to ramp him up and try to get him ready for the season. And so with that being said, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Super excited. Basketball is back and the Bulls got to win. I don't care that it's preseason. These players that we're talking about, they showed out today. That's great. We got to see what they do on Saturday against Memphis. So let me know what the key takeaways were for today. Are you excited with the new signing that the Chicago Bulls have made? Do you think, this player can definitely make an impact for us? What did you think about Modest Buzlelis? Do you believe out there, if you didn't believe before about him? How did you feel about Julian Phillps and then also to Dalen Terry in their action, the defensive intensity that we saw, centers playing very well, which is what we had a major question mark about. So let me know in the comments what you were thinking. Bulls basketball is back. Want to let you know to hit that subscribe button as we try to reach 5,000 subscribers. 64.2% of you that watch are not subscribed, so make sure you slam dunk on that subscribe button for me. And look, basketball is back. The Bulls got to win. We're making signings. We're making moves. I love it. Let's go. Go Bulls. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.